Ife couldn't help but admire Lulu. Her determination, kindness, and grace drew him in deeper. He started helping at the food store just to see her often, and most time he would walk her home. Though Lulu was cautious, her heart began to soften towards him. Mama Ife noticed the way her son's eyes lit up whenever Lulu was around. She also noticed the faint smile Lulu had whenever Ife spoke to her. But she was torn between both of them. While she liked Lulu and admired her resilience, she wondered if her past might complicate things for her son. One evening, Ife and Lulu walked back home from the market. The stars above were bright, and the cool breeze carried the scent of the night. Ife stopped and turned to Lulu. I need to tell you something, he said, his voice steady but soft. Lulu, I care about you. I don't know what you have been through entirely, but I want to be here for you. You are incredible. Lulu's breath caught. She wanted to trust him, but her fear held her back. Ife, you don't know what you're saying, she whispered. I have so much baggage. You deserve someone better. Later that night, Mama Ife pulled Ife aside. Ife, my son, I see the way you look at Lulu, she said. But are you sure about this? She's been through a lot. Ife, love is not just about feelings. It is about strength and patience. Are you ready for that? Ife nodded. I am, Mama. I have never been more sure about anything in my life. Meanwhile, back in Ronke's home, she sat in the living room. She thought of Mark's increasing absence and the mess they had made of their lives. For the first time, she wondered if she had been wrong about everything, including the way she treated Lulu. But I had to do what I had to do, she thought to herself. I really wanted to save my marriage. Lulu, on the other hand, couldn't deny her feelings for Ife, but she was terrified. One night, she sat down with Mama Ife and told her everything. Her past with Max, the pregnancy she was forced to terminate by Ronke, her former boss, and the pain she had endured. I can't bring these burdens into your son's life, she said, tears streaming down her face. Mama Ife listened quietly, her heart aching for Lulu. You are stronger than you think, she said finally. And maybe Ife sees that strength in you. Just give him a chance. Let him decide for himself. One sunny afternoon, Ife took Lulu to a quiet spot by the river. He looked quite nervous, but determined. Lulu, he began, I know your past has been painful, and I can't change that, but I want to be your future. Will you marry me? Lulu was turned. Tears filled her eyes as she looked at him. Ife, I don't deserve you, she said. Let me be the judge of that, he replied with a small smile. When Lulu told Mama Ife about the proposal, the older woman smiled through her tears. I can see how much my son loves you, she said, and I have seen your heart. Lulu, I believe you two can build something beautiful together. Lulu and Ife had a small intimate wedding as they exchanged vows. Lulu felt a glimmer of hope for the first time in years. For Ife, it was the happiest day of his life. The couple moved to a new city after their wedding, where Ife had secured a job. Lulu began working and she opened a small shop. Life seemed to be falling into place for them. However, years passed, but Lulu couldn't get pregnant. They visited specialists, underwent several tests, and tried every remedy suggested to them. Finally, a doctor revealed the truth to Lulu. Madam, I am sorry. Your womb had been irreparably damaged by the several abortions you underwent, especially the termination of your twin babies. The news shattered Lulu. She felt like she had failed Ife. She remembered that day just like yesterday, how she had begged and cried and pleaded with Ronke to allow her keep the babies. But no, Ronke did not listen. She saw her as nothing but a maid and her property that she would do whatsoever she deemed fit. Tears flow freely from Lulu's face as she thought of her marriage and what the future holds for herself and Ife. When she got home that night, she told Ife, "You should have married someone else," she said that night, sobbing. Ife held her close. "I married you because I love you, Lulu. Children or no children, you are my family." Mama Ife came to visit them in the city. Seeing Lulu's sadness, she said, "Motherhood isn't just about giving birth. There are many children out there who needs love. Have you thought about adoption?" Couple had never really thought about that. And Mama Ife talking about it brought it to their memory. So Lulu and Ife began discussing adoption. Though they were hesitant at first, Lulu warmed to the idea. "Maybe this is how we are meant to build our family," she said softly. Lulu and Ife adopted a little girl named Aduni. The moment they held her, they knew their family was complete. With Aduni in their lives, Lulu began to heal. She poured her love into her daughter and found joy in little moments with her. Ife's unwavering support never faltered. Lulu's business began to flourish and her family thrived. Though her joy had been fraught with pain, she found peace in her new life. However, Mark's recklessness continued. He became involved with a younger woman named Lara, and Lara was pregnant. When Ronke found out, her rage knew no bounds. "You will fix this, Max. She is not having that child," she demanded. Lara, however, was not like Lulu. When Ronke confronted her, she stood her ground. "I am having this baby, whether you like it or not," Lara said, her tone defiant. "And in fact, I am going to be moving in with Max. Whether you like it or not, I am going to be living in that home." Ronke was livid. "You will not step your foot into my house," she warned Lara. But Max, tired of Ronke's nagging, didn't object to Lara's bold suggestion. "She's carrying my child also, Ronke," he said. "We need to figure this out." Despite Ronke's protest, Lara moved into the house. Her presence was like a storm. She was loud, demanding, completely disrespectful towards Ronke. "This house is not well put together," Lara sneered one day, rearranging the living room. Ronke felt like a stranger in her own home. Lara's bad attitude was relentless, criticized everything Ronke did. Her cooking, her parenting, and even her marriage to Max. Max, caught between the two women, tried to keep peace, but often sided with Lara, leaving Ronke feeling betrayed. Lara's behavior further escalated. She began making unreasonable demands, insisting on expensive furnishing. Ronke had enough. One evening, during a heated argument, she snapped, "You are nothing but a gold digger, Lara," she screamed at Lara. "You think you can just walk into my home and take over?" "Oh, I see who is talking, you old cargo," Lara shot back. Max, tired of the constant fighting, made a shocking announcement. "Ronke, maybe it's time for you to leave this environment. This place isn't even healthy for me anymore." Ronke stared at him in disbelief. "You are kicking me out?" she asked, her voice breaking. I am not leaving, oh. Watch me. Throw your things out, he said as he threw her belongings outside the house. Ronke packed her belongings and left the house she had once called her sanctuary. As she walked out, Lara's smirk smile was the last thing she saw. For Ronke, it was the ultimate betrayal. With Ronke gone, Lara took full control of the household. She treated the staff poorly, spent lavishly, and demanded Mark's individual attention. But Max began to see the cracks in her facade. Her charm was wearing thin. Unknown to Max, Lara began siphoning money from his account. She forged his signature and transferred funds to a secret account. Her goal was to secure her future, knowing Max might one day see through her charade. Lara started adding a mysterious substance to Mark's evening drinks. At first, he didn't notice anything amiss, but over time, he began experiencing frequent headaches and blurred vision. Lara feigned concern all the while, tightening her grip on his life. Mark's health deteriorated rapidly. He could barely manage his business and relied heavily on Lara. Lara convinced him to grant her power of attorney, citing the need to handle his affairs while he recovered. With full control over Mark's assets, Lara began making bold moves. She sold off properties and diverted profits from his businesses into her personal accounts. The staff noticed her growing arrogance but feared speaking out. Ronke, now living with a close friend alongside her two children, life was really difficult for her, and Max totally stopped catering for his children as Lara was totally in control of his finances. Max grew weaker. Lara's attitude shifted. She became openly dismissive and even cruel. You are useless now, she sneered one evening. Her words cut deep, but Max was too afraid to retaliate. Lara, however, showed no sympathy. With Max confined in his bed, she saw an opportunity to fully take over his business. She manipulated him into signing documents that transferred control to her. It is for the best, she said sweetly, though her intentions were far from noble. She said under her breath, finally. Under Lara's management, the business took a different direction. She made reckless decisions, spending company's fund on her lavish lifestyle while neglecting the well-being of the employees. Mark's trusted associates were either fired or forced to resign, leaving no one to look out for his interests. At home, Lara's true color became more apparent. She treated Max with disdain, often leaving him alone for hours without food or care. You are useless, she would say. Her cruelty knew no bounds, and Max's once vibrant spirit began to fade. Meanwhile, Lara's greed and arrogance started to catch up with her. Her poor management of business led to significant financial losses. Suppliers and clients began pulling out, and the company's reputation was in ruins. Despite this, for years, Lara continued her extravagant lifestyle, oblivious of the looming disaster. Years passed, but one evening, while Lara was hosting a lavish party at their home, Mark's eldest son Tunde arrived unannounced. Having heard of his father's condition, Tunde was horrified to see the state Max was in. How could you let this happen? He demanded of Lara, who looked so unconcerned. All this is going to stop, Tunde said as he stormed out of the house. Tunde's confrontation with Lara was supposed to be the turning point for the family, but tragedy struck. On his way back home, driving late that night, distracted by the events of the evening, Tunde's car collided with a truck on the highway. He died instantly. The news shattered Ronke. Her only son was gone. Ronke cried non-stop. Ronke's grief was compounded when 2 weeks later, her daughter fell seriously ill. She was placed on life support and doctors struggled to find a solution. Ronke, broken and desperate, began suspecting that Lara was behind her son's death and her daughter's condition. She's evil, Ronke cried, convinced Lara's wickedness was to blame. Ronke's suspicions and fear of losing her daughter drove her to seeking spiritual help. She visited churches, prayer camps, and prophets, begging for divine intervention. One day, on her way back from the hospital, she encountered an elderly man of God who stopped her. "You are seeking answers in the wrong places," he said. "What do you mean?" Ronke asked, her voice trembling. The man looked at her intently. "The death and suffering in your family is not caused by the woman you suspect. They are the result of a curse. You covered your husband's wickedness and wronged an innocent soul. Until you seek forgiveness, the curse will not be lifted." Ronke's knees buckled beneath her as she fell to the ground, sobbing. "What curse? What did I do?" The man's voice was calm but firm. "You allowed your husband to harm an orphan girl. You terminated her pregnancies, ignoring her cries, her pain, and you thought she had nowhere to run to, no one to fight for her. And her pain has called out for justice, and now you are reaping what was sown. If you do not find this girl and seek her forgiveness, your daughter will not survive it." Ronke's word crumbled as the weight of her past action bore down on her. She realized the man of God was speaking about Lulu. Without wasting a moment, she began searching for Lulu. She had wronged her. Days turned into weeks as she combed through neighborhoods, asking anyone who would listen if they knew about Lulu. Eventually, Ronke found her. Lulu was living in another city with her new family. When Ronke approached her, Lulu's face hardened. "What do you want?" she asked coldly. Ronke fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "I am sorry," she said. "I am sorry for everything I did to you. Please forgive me." Lulu stared at her, conflicted. The pain of her past was still fresh, but she could see the genuine remorse in Ronke's eyes. "Why now?" she asked. "After all these years?" Lulu listened silently, her heart torn between anger and compassion. Finally, after a long pause, she said, "I forgive you, but forgiveness doesn't erase the past. I hope you've truly learned from your mistake and wickedness." Ronke wept with relief, thanking Lulu repeatedly. She left with a renewed sense of hope, praying that her daughter's life would be spared. Back at the hospital, Ronke's daughter began to show signs of improvement. The doctors were baffled by the sudden recovery, but Ronke knew it was as a result of her seeking forgiveness. Though her journey had been painful, she finally understood the importance of taking responsibility for her actions and making amends for the harm she had caused. Though she had lost her only son in the process of karma and vengeance. Life slowly returned to normal for Lulu and Ife, though the scar of the past lingered. Lulu found solace in her growing family and the love she shared with Ife. She had accepted that she might never conceive, focusing instead on raising her adopted child and nurturing their home with warmth and happiness. But fate had other plans. One morning, Lulu woke up feeling unusually nauseous, dismissed it as exhaustion. She carried on with her day. However, the symptoms persisted. Encouraged by Ife, her husband, she visited the doctor. The doctor's expression shifted as he reviewed her test results. "Lulu," he began, "you are pregnant." Lulu stared at him in disbelief. "That's impossible," she said. "I was told my womb was damaged." "Sometimes miracles happen," the doctor said with a gentle smile. When she shared the news with Ife, her husband, he was overjoyed. They embraced, tears streaming down their faces. The miracle of life had graced them when they least expected it. Months passed and Lulu's pregnancy progressed smoothly. Ife was by her side every step of the way, ensuring she was cared for. When the day finally came, Lulu gave birth to a healthy baby boy. They named him Olumide, meaning "my joy has come." The arrival of Olumide brought new light into their lives. Lulu marveled at the tiny miracle she had been blessed with, holding him close with prayers of gratitude. Meanwhile, Lara had been adding poison to Mark's food, a slow and calculated move to ensure she maintained control over his wealth. Mark's body grew weaker by the day. One fateful night, he passed away in his sleep. One of Mark's employees discovered incriminating evidence of her crimes: bank records, forged signatures, a diary detailing her plans to eliminate Marks were handed over to the police. The police launched an investigation and Lara was arrested. During her trial, her cold appearance and lack of remorse shocked everyone. She was sentenced to life in prison for her crimes, including the murder of Max. Lulu and Ife's family thrived. Aduni adored her baby brother, and their home was filled with laughter and love. Though the journey had been fraught with pain, Lulu had found her happy ending. A life where she was cherished, respected, and surrounded by those who loved her unconditionally. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. Like this video please, and you can kindly share out this video to your loved ones. Until I come your way again with another story, for now, from me, it is bye.